I think we have Congressman Murphy on the phone. Are you there?
I am. How you doing?
Well, thank you so much for joining us. You're here with Brian Parker, Dave Moore, the different representatives, and you're trying to run for Senate here in Connecticut, take over Joe Lieberman's seat.
Yeah, listen, I look at this on pretty simple terms. I do think that some of the most important decisions for the future of this country, whether it be the long-term budget outlook, energy policy, immigration policy, the big questions are going to be decided in the next 5 years or so. And, the Senate is a place that used to work. It was a place where these big compromises were able to be made between the two parties. And frankly, it's become even more dysfunctional than the House recently. And
how do you avoid those temptations of corruption?
Well, I actually have a compass that sits on my desk in Washington, D.C. that was handed to me by a few of my supporters, and they gave it to me for that exact reason, so that I have a daily reminder when I'm in Washington that I have to have a moral compass. Interestingly, I think it really comes from home. I think you have to have a family that grounds you. And my parents and my wife, they are my ethical guide. Anytime that they feel like I'm approaching an issue in a way that's not right down the center of the road, they're going to be the first ones to call me out on it.
Are you not running for your own seat again, or what happens?
Well, I refuse to acknowledge the premise of that question. I mean, what do you mean I wouldn't win the Senate seat?
No, I understand. But are you, are you doing the Joe Lieberman who's going to run for Senate and Vice President at the same time?
No, I'm not running for House seat. I've seen people try to, play it cute and play it both ways, but I think it's better to make it clear to people what your intentions are, and so I'm not running or have any plans to run for re-election to the House.
The last three questions, we like to do this thing with the candidates called your top three, your favorite three. So I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite restaurant, your favorite Connecticut restaurant, your favorite Connecticut author, and your favorite Connecticut activity on the weekend?
All right, all good questions. So I got to pick one restaurant in the entire state of Connecticut.
One restaurant. I would suggest you pick it from your district. No.
All right, I'm going to go one in district, and I'm going to go one out of district. I'm going to go with the Oreos in Waterbury, a fantastic Italian restaurant, and then I'm going to go down in New Haven to Modern Pizza. Because we gotta rep the good pizza in Connecticut, and I like all the New Haven pizza joints, but Modern is number one. So I'll go one in district and one out of district.
Wait a second, this is groundbreaking. You're not a Pepe's man?
So here's the trick for me.
This is like Red Sox Yankees.
Pizza, but I've got a little aversion to the sauce that has the big chunks of tomato in it, and Pepe's has a real strong tomato presence in their sauce. And Modern, which is still true to the New Haven style pizza, has a little bit of a thinner sauce to it. So if you want to get into the details, that's the reason why I go Modern, as well as the fact that when my wife lived in New Haven when we were dating, Modern was walking distance from her apartment. So that also has something to do with it.
This sound clip is going right to John Rowland at 1080. Chris Murphy likes less chunky pizza sauce. This is going to be all over the news.
Scandalous.
I can't even believe it. All right, what's your favorite Connecticut author?
Well, I'll tell you, my favorite Connecticut author is someone that maybe not everybody associates with Connecticut, but it's Frank McCourt. Frank did a lot of his writing in Connecticut. Obviously, came to Connecticut via Ireland and New York City. But Frank, who is a good friend of mine and supporter of mine, who passed away now almost 2 years ago, he's a Connecticut author. I think he'll go down as a Connecticut author. He wrote some of his best stuff in Connecticut, and he would top my list.
Good stuff. Newsman Dave Moore is shaking his head. He's a big fan of him as well. How about your favorite Connecticut weekend activity? When you think of weekends in Connecticut, what is the thing on the weekend that you think is quintessential to Connecticut?
Well, to me, it's heading out into the woods. So, I grew up loving to be outdoors. My wife and I's courtship was filled with finding different spots to go for day hikes throughout the state, and sometimes even getting our backpacks out and going overnight. And even though my son is only 3 years old now, or be 3 years old at the end of the summer, already we've gone out around Cheshire and Meriden and done some of the good half-day hikes, and it's something that he loves too. So to me, there are so many amazing things to do in Connecticut on the weekends, but getting outdoors and getting out, into the mountains, into the hills, that's top of the list for me.
We've been talking to Congressman Chris Murphy of the 5th District, running for the Senate seat occupied right now by Joe Lieberman. And Joe has decided to retire, and Chris said, hey, I'll throw my hat in the ring there. Chris, I think it's great. I would love to have you come in the studio and do an interview, maybe a little bit more in length, and maybe we can dive into some of the issues if you're up for that.
Hey, listen, just tell these Republicans to, start running the trains on time down here, and I'll be glad to come home and spend some time with you.
Well, lucky for you, I actually control the Republicans and the trains down in D.C., so you've got the right man. Very lucky for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Chris Murphy. Hey, he likes a thin sauce. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye-bye.